Welcome to day one of Texans training camp. I'm Zach Tawatari alongside Luis Ortiz here at Houston Methodist Training Center. And Luis, it's only day one. It's cliche, we hear it all the time, but it is the first step. I'm curious, what were some of your observations from this first practice?
Well, the guys look happy, they look excited, they look, that they're ready for football to start, right? And I think the one observation that really stood out to me was Stephon Diggs, when the quarterbacks, and only Stephon and Nico Collins, they came over to a separate field, right? And they were doing a little bit of throwing the ball. Stephon Diggs had one catch, single-handed, just one-handed catch. It was pretty high up there, and he made it look easy.
Certainly looking forward to seeing him on the field with the rest of this offense. And I think for me, what stood out most was how comfortable everybody looked. You mentioned the happiness, feeling excited for the season. And I think that in this second year for this core group and with the guys that they've added, everyone is very excited. Still, CJ Stroud, a guy in his second year, knows that this team still has a lot to prove.
For me right now, just the message is keep the main thing. We want to, of course, we have not only a lot of expectations, we have a lot of big goals on this team, and I mean that's how it should be. The person who always doubts himself probably will never make it to that point. So you got to have confidence and have a goal and a plan and execute that plan. So that's what we're doing, and but you have to be where your feet are. We're in training camp right now. We got to just execute that and make sure that we're taking every day to get better.
So, Zach, talking about new faces, Stephon Diggs, one of them, right? The Texans really made a bunch of signings this offseason. Stephon Diggs, we're talking about Joe Mixon, Azeez Al-Shaair, the linebacker, So they come into this season with a lot of expectations because they have the talent on paper. Now we got to see if it's really going to come together on the field.
They absolutely do, and it's funny because it seems like these guys who are in their second year, because there are so many new big impact faces, are really the veterans. And one of those guys, Will Anderson Jr., who was obviously a breakout defensive star for them last year, talked today about how he felt this team is actually, even though they have so many new players, starting out in a better place than they did going into last season.
And I think we are further ahead of that than we were last year. Like, even with all the new additions, it just feels like we've been together for a while now. With everybody that's been here, and all the new guys, it just seems like we've been playing together for about a year or two now, and it just shows like the type of guys that we have in this building.
And let's talk about groups. I think that the most highly anticipated and talked about group on this team is the wide receiver room.
No doubt.
I mean, you've got Stephon Diggs, you've got Tank Dell, who appears to be fully healthy, and then, of course, you have Nico Collins, who was a breakout star last season and signed that big contract in the offseason.
He earned it. I mean, he really showed out last year. And then now you see whenever you perform on the field, then you get paid, right? And then before we get a little bit more into that, now I want to talk about what DeMeco Ryans said along in his press conference, that he wants to see the attitude from the players. He wants to see them come in with energy and really leave it all on the field here at training camp during practice. And that's really what's going to lay the foundation and lead to success. Now, Nico, talking about that crowded wide receivers room, he says that all this talent is a good thing because then they lean on each other, they learn from each other, and then they also push each other to get better.
I feel like it's new juice, new energy, new players, man. I feel like the tempo is fun. Practice is going to be competitive, fun, man. I feel like that's the best, man. Iron sharpens iron, so I feel like it's the only way we're going to improve and make each other better.
And it's pretty incredible when you think back to last season, this team going from winning 3 games the year before to going 10-7 and winning the AFC South, and they didn't even do it with full health. One of the guys that they drafted in the first round the previous year, Kenyon Green, didn't even play the entire year. I'm very excited to see him come out. Who are some of the guys that you're excited to see?
Yeah, no, I think the whole offensive line, actually, when you talk about old linemen, Laramie Tunsil wasn't even here yet today because, as we know, he had knee surgery during the offseason. Titus Howard is back. So DeMeco Ryans talked about that. We all know that in football, there's always going to be injuries. That's out of your control. But if this team can stay healthy, that's always one of the keys to success, right, in the NFL. You got to stay healthy, or at least try to avoid that most of your starters don't get injured. So, DeMeco Ryans talked about that. He says, we don't have a lot of updates, but there is good news because it looks like the team's going to be ready for the season opener.
It was good to see Titus back out today. He missed some time there with the surgery, so it's good to see him back healthy and having the opportunity to compete. And when it comes to Laramie, we have guys will be on different schedules throughout camp, so there'll be guys you won't see out, but everybody's on track for the season opener, and that's what this is all about, right? Getting guys ready to go when we kick off our season opener.
So, Zach, it was only day one, right? So we still haven't heard from Joe Mixon, Daniel Hunter, some of the new guys that have joined the team, Stephon Diggs. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what they have to say as training camp continues.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the Texans actually already got a win. They went 1-0 today because they beat the rain, as did we. But we're looking forward to many more of those hot days as we continue to get through training camp and, of course, keep you at home posted on everything Texans. From the Houston Methodist Training Center, alongside Luis Ortiz, I'm Zach Tawatari, KHOU 11 Sports.